Hi, here's a short video just showing my top tips for successful content capture. This is based on my experience of using the various solutions we've had for content capture over the years, as well as dealing with lecturers and staff on the eLearnDesk and my own wider reading. The starting point for any recorded content needs to be your audience. Who exactly is it for, and how are you going to get your message across to them? It's really important to think about how it's going to be digested. Your traditional lecture audience is a static audience in front of you at a given point at a given time. So really what you've got to do is try to make it as personal to the viewer as possible, like it's a one-to-one session. The most effective video presentations tend to be a combination of not just slides and narration, but also a video of the presenter. That's not because we like showing ourselves, as you can tell from my video, but it really humanizes the process. It allows for eye contact, body language, and that's so important, particularly when you look at distance learners. If you are doing a video that's generic for all and you aim to use it in various courses for various year groups, it's really important to try and consider tailoring it somehow, because studies show if that initial engagement is not there, then students will not watch the rest of the video. They will switch off. Often when people think content capture, they think every video is a brand new video, but actually there's no need to reinvent the wheel. I've got background in teaching, and we were always told to magpie good ideas, and so if someone has already created a really good screencast somewhere, why not use it? Why not use the ideas? You might not actually want to use their material, it might not be appropriate for your students, but if the concepts raised in it are valid, then why not put your own spin on it? I should point out that you should contact eLearn or the library if you've got any queries about copyright. Rather than having a video within a video, it's always better to properly reference a link somewhere else on Moodle or embed it alongside it, so then you're not getting into any difficulties when it comes to copyright. We do whole sessions based on that, so please get in contact with us. It's also possible to revisit old recorded content. Again, it doesn't always have to be new. While technology's changed, there might be learning value in old recorded material that you might be able to snip out and put into a new video. It's really important to think about what your content's purpose is. Is it just to capture an event like the traditional lecture capture, or is it more than that? Is it aimed to consolidate a particular element, a key feature of the course, or is it to address a misconception that perhaps the class is struggling with? By creating a resource that can be a point of reference, you can also prevent 10 questions about the same topic happening. It can be a vital point of reference for students at exam time too. The other idea is that perhaps it could stimulate a discussion in a forum or feed into another task that you set them. Or perhaps it could be a means of differentiation. We don't have to limit ourselves. Why not do an additional video that brings in a higher or broader concept that enables learning to take place at a higher level? When recording any content, it's really important to think about your environment you're in and the equipment you use. We're not all working in Hollywood, so it's never going to be perfect. But a controlled environment, filmed specifically for a purpose and for the viewer, tends to result in a higher quality video in comparative terms to the traditional lecture theatre where the camera's from a far off distance. It's really ideal for distance learners and people not in the room. You want to consider about minimizing any background noise, and also not wearing any jingly jangly jewelry or shuffling paper, and you might want to consider any mannerisms that you might have, although that's very hard to do. You need to find somewhere quiet that has a plain background. Try not to record a video with a light source in front of you, like a window or a desk lamp, as it can throw your face into shadow, and that makes it harder to read your lips, which links to accessibility, which I'll touch on a bit later. Quite often the most simplest solutions are the best. A plain wall, a broom cupboard, a spare room, a hallway can actually make the best recording studio. Always keep facing the camera and try not to move around. I know it's easier said than done, but you want to try and keep that eye contact with the viewer. Try to focus on being understood and speak in a tone that is normal for you. Speak in a clear manner that's not too fast, and try not to exaggerate your lip movements, as lip reading is based on natural patterns of speech. Try and use a USB microphone or a headset when possible, rather than the standard microphone on your laptop. This will just make sure the background noise is minimized. Certainly audio is so important with content capture. If the audio is not too good, this is another way of disengaging the viewer. And if you've got a headset, like I have, try and position the microphone below your mouth. This is key for lip readers who can see your mouth movements, and so the mic doesn't pick up your heavy breathing as well. But the most important thing, and again this comes from years of experience and the sad times of people recording long videos and then them not working out how potentially they should have done. You should always do a short test before every session, just to check your audio is fine and your camera is fine. Really powerful tool in conveying content to students that I've seen to be really effective in the past is actually modeling and showing processes on camera rather than just talking about them in the text. So pen casting of notes and annotations is really powerful. Looking at the recording of a creative process. This could be virtually on the computer using models and logos, particularly in graphic design, using specialized software, but it can also be more tactile, and if you're looking at painting and the creative arts. Also, if you've got particular software and record systems that students use out on placement, actually modeling the use of this is really good for them to refer back to when they're out in the field. Also, when you're doing your marking and the assessment process, modeling a marking of a paper is far more powerful than just sharing the marking criteria. Key point is to keep it short and sweet. Always set a maximum length. Rather than redoing an hour lecture, can it be condensed? It's interesting to note that TED Talks have a set limit of 18 minutes because they believe this is long enough for a speaker to flesh out an idea, but short enough that a listener can take in and digest and understand all the important information. But can the concepts themselves be introduced in separate videos? The information is more likely to be clearer for the viewer and more likely to be retained, as they can go directly to the learning points they need rather than getting lost. Having short videos helps future-proof your content, so you can specifically update or change particular elements rather than re-recording the whole thing. This is particularly important if policies or systems change, but actually the teaching content is still the same. Accessibility is absolutely vital for any new content recorded. It's essential that they have subtitles, these cater for any students who may be deaf, but also are helpful for so many other students, including those for that English is not necessarily their first language, but also the students who watch in public spaces and on handheld devices. It's just another way in which content is digested, so it's essential that subtitles are available. If you've got any questions about this, please contact us on eLearn or contact your local online course developers. I should also say colour is really important, and there's various contrast checkers online that you can access. But also, if you go on to Moodle, there's a whole accessibility best practice guide on there. It's certainly worth a read. Then once you've actually recorded your video, you need to look at the post-recording side and endless possibilities involved with that. You need to have realistic production values. You're not a professional video maker. You can over-edit things, so try not to. Try and keep it natural. If you over-edit it and do too many cuts, it actually leaves the video seeming artificial. Research shows that students actually prefer a more natural, more authentic video that has a few stumbles in it than something that is absolutely perfect. If you make a mistake, don't restart the recording, but pause, take a breath and continue. It may be possible to cut this section out. I won't tell you if I've done that or not. I don't know if you'll be able to guess, but who knows. It's also worth mentioning that the way in which you get your video out to students can differ. It can be a transcript, a video with captions, podcasts. You might want to put it out there in various ways so that it addresses many learning styles. If you've got any questions, please contact us on eLearn. We're happy to talk you through any technical questions you might have with any software that we have, but also just to answer any musings, or we might be able to signpost you to particular people who might be able to help. We also have a blog, and we do various training on content capture and copyright specifically, so please get in touch.